Like, how do you stay objective about where the business is at and where you need to take it and the tough decisions that you have to make to keep it healthy?
Every Monday, our VAs put together a spreadsheet of every single number in the business, top to bottom. And it's quite a complicated sort of a Google sheet where whether it's client fulfillment, whether it's the marketing, whether it's the reports on how staff are going, but we're able to then look at those numbers and identify exactly the problems and go, okay, well, our marketing budget doubled this week. What the hell happened? What happened to the ads? And then be able to have a closer look at the ads and then say, all right, what happened with the ads? Did the pictures stop working? Was the copy not working? Do we need to adjust our offer? And then being able to pinpoint exactly the problem and then say, all right, guys, this is our focus this week. We're going to do A, B, C, D. We're going to come back next week and we're going to track the improvement. And if things have improved, fantastic. And that's what business is. It's about finding that 1% thing that you can improve on every single week, implementing, coming back the next week and seeing your results. And in most cases, when you spend that attention and giving that one focus for a week, you get that result. And if you do that every single week in business, your business improves out of sight because those 1% add up extremely, extremely fast. And it may not be 1%, it might be 5% each time. And then when you look at it by the end of the year, it's like compound interest. You've just blown up.
And you make kind of like an interesting point. There's some people that are focused on looking at their numbers daily, right? What would you say looking at it daily versus weekly?
I think with daily, you just don't see the improvements, right? It's like jumping on the scales as a client, having a client jump on the scales for weight loss. They jump on the scales every single day. They don't see the improvement because it's like 100 grams a day, probably even less. And then they feel demotivated and they don't feel successful. And the funny thing is that a lot of us, we're in the mindset of being a client where we don't realize that, hey, you could have water fluctuations. You know, you have a big meal of pasta, you jump on the scales, and all of a sudden that next day you're 2 kilos heavier. Or, you know, you don't eat your carbohydrates, right? And then all of a sudden you completely deplete your system and you're 2 kilos lighter. And then you go through that phase of being like, no carbohydrates, pasta, and you're up 4 kilos over the course of a day. And that's what happens when you look at a business from a short-term perspective. And you've really got to step back and see a macro perspective. Understand that, hey, a week's a good measurement, but a really good week is a month. And an even better perspective is a year, because those correct decisions all add up, as I said before.
Yeah. It's very easy to be susceptible to emotion when you're going daily. And Gene, you used to pay a huge amount of attention to any one salesperson saying, hey, gee, the leads suck today. The leads suck this week. And that's great because, you know, obviously that's an emotional response and there's a small amount of value in that opinion. But all we do is we just look at the scoreboard for the week and we say, well, in fact, you're wrong. Our sales conversions are better this week, or they're the same this week. Or so like if somebody's complaining on a individual level or on a day-to-day or even an hour-to-hour or call-to-call level, you start to really be able to separate, I guess, feelings from facts.
It comes down to maths, really. Like I know, like we've had salespeople, they have a day where might have made 1 or 0 sales. And it's like, that happens. Mathematically, there's going to be a point, you know, if you average 4 sales a week because you've got a full diary, 4 sales a day, I should say, there is a mathematical point where you are not going to make a sale in a day. You know, people aren't going to show, people are going to cancel. You're not going to actually sell people. You're going to go through sales fails. And understanding that and being ready to ride that roller coaster, because business is a roller coaster.